By the way, I went ahead and just hit record. And
Oh, okay. It seems like you to do something like that.
so the other day when you asked me if I knew the war or the feud between Kentucky bourbon and Tennessee whiskey or whatever.
Kentucky and Tennessee and all that,
Yeah. If I knew all of that, does that mean that you do, or that plays into maybe part of our conversation we need to have with
when
Willie?
I had talked to Willie down at Junction 35, he started giving me a little brief rundown of the history of the whole feud, the Hatfield-McCoy's feud between Tennessee bourbon and Kentucky bourbon whiskey.
I gotcha.
And he said it was originally done by a man in northern Tennessee, and I guess the guy that made it, his daughter fell in love with the son of one of the guys that her dad used to sell it to, and they lived in Kentucky, so it became like this whole thing at some point, but I don't know. And so all these counties got involved, and the historical societies got involved, and it turned into a big to do. But eventually, it was the law sided with Tennessee, and they're still fighting about it. Well, hello there, dear listener. Welcome to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Across the table from me is Mr. W. Do. Mr. W. Do, how do you too?
Zoinks! For some reason, I went straight Scooby-Doo.
Right.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, better than me, I guess. Shit. Get all tongue-tied over here. We're here to talk about Junction 35. It's a distillery and a
restaurant.
Little, restaurant. They've got 2 locations now, I think, down in the Pigeon Forge area. And I found out about them when I was on vacation late October of 2023, and we went down there to spend some time and see what's what. Pigeon Forge, like the main drag through Pigeon Forge, is it's like Branson times like 4. It was insane.
Yeah, there's a lot down in that Pigeon Forge area.
Yeah, I forged my own knife out of a railroad spike.
That's pretty cool.
It's railroad spikes are kind of low quality iron, so you do have to keep it oiled or it will rust. So I have to stay on top of that. And but we did all kinds. There was a Paula Deen's restaurant, a Guy Fieri restaurant, lots of tourist trap type shops here, there, and everywhere. We wanted to go to Dolly World, but we just didn't have time for it. But whatever. So we did the main thing that I wanted to do while we were down there was check out as much local stuff as we could.
Yeah.
Because here in Kansas City, what we like to do, at least you and I both like to do, we like to support local art, local music, local business, and local distilleries. And I was bound to determine I'm going to find something local down there that you can't get back home, because otherwise, why the fuck am I down here?
Right, right.
Do I want to go out of town and eat at Applebee's? Hell no. We got Applebee's back home. Cracker Barrel? We got Cracker Barrel back home. I don't want to hit any of these fucking places. I want the weirdo animatronic chickens sing their songs at me while I'm eating chicken and waffles, thinking, where the fuck am I? Oh my God. But anyway, so we ended up going to Junction 35. It was right across the street from the forge where I forged my knife that I was talking about a second ago. We got there. We got to talking to the bartender guy. His name was Willie Barbie. When we were down there, and we learned a lot about Junction 35 and where they say they got their name, but we're not entirely sure how true that is, because whatever. Maybe we'll get into that later. But first, what we're going to try tonight is the Junction 35 straight bourbon whiskey. What all were you able to find online?
I had to go straight to their website, and I was able to pull that this is a straight bourbon whiskey. It is 90 proof. Online, they did not have any mention of an age statement, so I put it down as NAS.
NAS, but when I was down there, he told me that they age everything for 3 years, and it'll say on the bottle, the information down on the back of the bottom of the bottle here, it says aged no less than 2 years.
Okay.
So there's that.
So for their straight bourbon whiskey, I was able to pull that Junction 35's award-winning straight bourbon is always crafted in small batches. This bourbon is well-bodied and very balanced. It is great on the rocks or the perfect way to elevate any whiskey cocktail. It is dark gold and copper colored with orange brass highlights.
It is orange brass.
Yeah, it is kind of it definitely has a brass.
Very kind of honey gold, orange brass kind of color. It looks good. Smells good. Smells like bourbon.
Smells like bourbon.
And I like bourbon. So I think I like the way this bourbon smells.
That's funny. I as well. We should start a podcast.
We should. Indubitably, sir. Indubitably.
Yeah, this is great. There's a little bit of citrus. Got some caramel, some vanilla, a little bit of a charred wood.
Yeah.
Which maybe is just a little bit of a smokiness.
Speaking of charred wood, he said these are in a he called it grade 3.
Okay.
So and then I had him clarify and he said
char
that's
level.
Char level char level 3. And he said a lot of the other folks around the area, they were just doing a 1 or a 2.
Okay.
Which I thought and I think we kind of talked about this before where we wondered if why wouldn't anybody go for 5? To get maximum flavor, maximum heat in that wood. But come to find out, there's all kinds of different reasons. Yeah, it's got a very kind of sweet, kind of caramely corn kind of smell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't mention it before, but there's definitely a pronounced corn aroma on the nose.
What I remember about Junction 35 is that they their distillery kind of came into existence. Head wag. About a month before the COVID shutdown came along. Fucked everything up. And so after that, they went into the hand sanitizer craze and started.
A lot of them did.
Yeah, making stuff just so they could stay in business and get their name out there on a bottle and
Riggers
brand
did
recognition.
A lot of that.
They absolutely did. Yeah. And so there was that, and I also found out that they're the highest. At the time they were the highest volume distillery in Sevier County, and they have nothing that they offer is below 70 proof, and the 35% ABV that they never dip below is kind of where they got their name for the Junction 35. They'll tell you that it's in homage to the rail system that runs through town. But if you've looked at a map, there's no rail system anywhere near Pigeon Forge.
Is that
except for Dollywood?
Okay.
When Dollywood came, they put in a railroad track for her. It doesn't go through town. It's in town. It goes around the whole property all day.
Is it possible that it's no longer in service, but there was once upon a time? According to their website, they talk about the logging community and a lot of the loggers back in the day, Prohibition times, were loggers during the day and moonshiners during the night. And they learned that they could run their shine on the trains and bypass a lot of the stops on the actual roads.
I don't know. Maybe not. But from what I was told, they never had a railroad that ran through there. Okay. But, whatever.
Well, I did a look up just to make sure that I was understanding correctly. So this is a straight bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
And the term straight refers to the fact that the whiskey has not been blended with any other spirits and has been aged for at least 2 years in oak barrels.
Okay.
So you read on the back of the bottle says that no less than 2 years aging. So that plays into that. And it was not blended with anything else but this right here.
And speaking of the bottle, it's your average style whiskey bottle. if you take a wine bottle and you kind of pinch it at the bottom of the neck and shoulder it out a little bit wide, slight taper down. You got plenty of information and cool looking art. It's copper on black with white letters.
A little bit of bubble on the neck.
Yeah, a little bit of a bubble,
kind
like
of that
Weller. Yeah, and there's a little bit of info on the back here. There's a paragraph here. It says, straight from the hills of the Smoky Mountains, Junction 35 Spirits brings a long-time family tradition to the public. Our rich local history of making and running spirits, converging with the innovation of our master distiller, has brought together a taste like no other. Just like the railroad, Junction 35 Spirits will deliver the very best products every time. 60% of the time, it works every time. Little Anchorman for you. But I like it. I like it. It's a cool looking bottle. I'm not going to give it a 5, but I'll give it at least a 2.5. We'll see when we get there.
Somewhere on their website, the owner talks a little bit about himself, and he talks about learning how to make whiskey at the age of 5.
In that area, it doesn't surprise me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, like it's in everybody's family history there.
I'm not finding it now, but that's all right.
That's all right. Well, he said it follows the Lincoln County process.
Yes.
For the aging of the bourbon. But yeah, I'm getting.
And if I'm not mistaken, the Lincoln County process is the process that also incorporates the filtering through the maple charcoal.
Okay. Yeah, he did say that it's charcoal filtered.
So to be classified,
that might be part of the bourbon classification, though.
Yeah. So the state of Tennessee classifies Tennessee whiskey as being distilled and aged in the state of Tennessee, filtered through maple charcoal specifically, and then also bottled in the state of Tennessee.
Okay. Well, ready to get it on the palate?
I am.
Got a little bit of oak on the palate that I wasn't expecting.
Yep.
Right off the bat. It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm. It's very sweet.
Excuse me. It's very sweet all across the palate and even through into the finish.
There's something unique about it. And
the corn comes through. There is something about it. And it might be the mineral water that they use. It's weird. It's almost like corn chips, like nacho chips.
It's really interesting. With this trip, you spent some time in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then Junction 35 obviously is in Tennessee.
Yeah.
When we stopped in a variety of places in Kentucky this last summer, specifically the tour I did at Michter's, they were very, very, very proud of their limestone-rich water that they're pulling right from the river, right there by the distillery. And it sounds like Tennessee is also very proud of their limestone-rich water.
Well, whatever they're doing, I like it. When it comes to this Junction 35 straight bourbon whiskey, it's got, like I was saying, it's kind of like, to me, it's got like a sweet corn tortilla chip style sweetness on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a little bit of a hint of a spice on there, a little peppery spice. Really not that much to speak of. It is 90 proof, so it's stronger than your tavern strength, but it doesn't exactly feel that way. I think the first time I tried it, I thought, well, this tastes a lot like Jim Beam White Label. But now that I'm trying it again here, it tastes nothing like that.
The notes say notes of peppercorn and smoky tobacco.
Huh.
And I can maybe see a little of the peppercorn. I'm definitely not getting any tobacco on there.
I hardly ever get tobacco.
But what I am getting is maybe a clove and cinnamon.
Cinnamon, yeah.
Not necessarily nutmeg, but definitely cinnamon and maybe a little bit of clove. I mean, I don't know. Call me crazy, but it might be just shy of a little bit of a pumpkin-y kind of a spice.
Speaking my love language, sir. Well, I like it.
So maybe
I think
it is
that's
a
delightful pour.
Yeah, so maybe it is a little bit of nutmeg. I don't know.
Like some kind of baking spice, cinnamon forward baking spice, but it's not cinnamon forward on the palate or on the finish, but it's
the finish is nice and warm.
Yeah.
And those baking spices I definitely think come through on the finish. Maybe a little bit of a stone fruit.
Yeah, like maybe nectarine.
Yeah.
Something like that. Nothing strong. like nectarine or apricot. Maybe apricot more than nectarine. Nectarine's got a bit more of a slap you in the face kind of flavor, like plums or peaches. Sometimes when it comes to the nose, I like to wait until the glass is empty, and it's just all you're left with is just the few last little drops, little drips left on the inside of that. And I think when I did that, that was the first time I smelled like cereal grains, like cream of wheat.
Oh yeah,
malto meal, oatmeal, that kind of thing. And I can kind of smell that on this one. It's why I brought that back up.
Well, on the nose, our notes say sweet to the nose with corn and cereal grains.
Okay. And I've been craving cream of wheat or malto meal. I say it's the same damn thing. Jennifer doesn't. She says no, it's totally different. But I look at the ingredients.
Cream of wheat is malto meal.
Yeah, and malto meal is cream of wheat. Which
is not the same as oatmeal.
Definitely not. Oatmeal is made out of oats.
And grits is completely different.
That's made out of corn, and cream of wheat and malto meal is made out of cracked wheat. She doesn't know. I think she's just in denial. There's some things, right or wrong, she's never going to admit to me or herself. Nose, I liked it. Palate, I liked it. Finish was tasty. When it comes to finishes, I like the long, lingering, sweet finishes. I don't like it when they're kind of dry and they evaporate almost immediately.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Sometimes it's nice, but this, I like the finish pretty good. Bottle presentation. I'm gonna take my calculator, get my rating going on here. Well, now that my calculations are complete, tell me, Mr. W2, what did you give it on the nose?
I thought this nose was pretty fine. I gave it 3 3/4.
Girl, same. How about the palate?
Palate, I gave it a 4.
So did I.
Really?
Yeah. How about the finish?
3 3/4.
I gave it a 4.
Ah, dang it! We were doing so well.
So close. How about the bottle presentation?
I gave it. What did I give it? A 3.0.
A 3.0? Okay. I gave it a.
I was a little bit harsher on the bottle than I think I normally am, and I think it's a decent bottle. I think their labels are decent.
Good labels.
It's a black label with the gold copper.
The train design
detail.
Got a little bit of mountain going on in the background.
And then you
ruffled edge on the top of it.
We've got it sitting here next to their straight rye bottle, which is a very, very dark green. And so
almost like the Buffalo Trace green.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the lighting that it's in, it by itself you could mistake that for a black until you got up on it and you're like, oh, it's green. I wonder if that's a rye. Oh, it is. Yeah, I like it because both of those lines follow the same brand, and the label's got the kind of the postage stamp kind of edge on the top.
So you gave the bottle presentation. You gave it a 3.0.
I gave it a 3.0.
I wrote down 3.5 because that's what mine was. I gave it a 3.5. I like the wood topper. I like the natural cork. I like the shape of the bottle. Like we said, oh shit, it's composite. That looked
like it.
Oh, that's because of the moisture there on the inside. Yeah. So it makes me wonder, holy shit. See, I thought this could... All right, so when I turn this, you see what I'm looking at here?
It looks like it's natural cork.
It looks like natural cork.
Yep.
What the hell? Optical illusions. So what was your final score?
My final was 7 1/4.
Mine was 7 5/8, 7.625.
Okay. We're still right there.
Yep. We're right within that same ballpark that we usually end up being.
And one of the things that I did not read earlier was that I pulled from their website is their 3 main quote-unquote straight offerings are all 3 90 proof straights: bourbon, rye, and Tennessee whiskey.
Okay, well...
And then they've got a ton more from there, but their 3 main products.
I must have missed their Tennessee whiskey. Or no, I tried it. I tried the Tennessee whiskey as a one of the taste testers, and I didn't really like it. Like I said, it reminded me of Jim Beam White Label, only hotter. So I wrote down here that this straight bourbon whiskey from Junction 35. It's a sweet and warm bourbon that is sure to satisfy. At 90 proof, this straight bourbon whiskey will have your friends and family asking for another pour.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think maybe if we want to connect with Willie down the road. Just looking on their website, they actually have quite a few recipes scattered throughout their website, and under their bourbon page they have an old fashioned, and the Junction 35 old fashioned is 2-ounce straight bourbon, 3 dashes of old fashioned bitters, slice of orange, cherry, brown sugar cube, splash of soda water, and crush the sugar cube in the mixing glass, drop in the cherry, add the bourbon. Yeah, they use soda water and a brown sugar cube. So maybe if we can circle back with him at some other time, we can do the Junction 35 old fashioned.
Yeah, and he's I'd love to talk to him about cocktails, because him and his dad have they make redneck mules.
Okay.
It's got because they have lots and lots of vodka at home. He's a self-proclaimed whiskey snob, so he's all about it. And so that's their thing. They do mules, and they use the Reed's Extra. And
I like it.
I was like, that's the shit. That's the best.
It is.
That's the best. I was really hoping to talk to him about the horse feather.
Oh yeah,
cocktail. And since he probably doesn't have any Kansas City whiskey, if we can get him on, I would love to send him a bottle. I'm sure it'd be illegal, so I'd have to be real quiet about sending him a bottle of whiskey and not talk about it on a podcast.
Right.
But just so he can try it. Or send him those little taster bottles.
Yeah.
Like what we got with the Flavier Advent calendar.
I got 24 plus of them upstairs.
Well, dear listener, if you think you like what you heard, and you're going to end up in the Pigeon Forge area of Tennessee, definitely stop by Junction 35 Distillery. I think you'll really enjoy all the. If you're a fan of the gimmick whiskeys, they've got walls and walls full of it, and they'll be happy to have you try all the different stuff that they have to offer, including vodka, if you're into that kind of thing, and gin, I think. And there's plenty of whiskeys and rye, and they have they have tiny bottles called Off the Rails. It's an experimental line, so definitely check that out. Mr. W2, do you have anything else to add?
I enjoyed this.
I did too. I really did too.
It's a solid bourbon.
So thank you for listening to the Savor the Burn podcast. Be sure to check us out on all the socials, and follow us along everywhere on your favorite podcast app of choice. Be sure to drop us some feedback if you're listening on Spotify with the voice message option. We love getting those, and we also love emails. You can email info@savortheburn.com. You can email Wayne W2@savortheburn.com. You can email me, Jonathan@savortheburn.com. And always, no matter who you are, what you're drinking, who you're drinking it with, never forget, dear listener, to keep on burning.